I want to talk about is really binning some overzealous reward and compensation practices across organisations. All the examples that I'm going to share with you are real examples that I've come across in businesses that I've worked for in over 20 years in HR. None of them at any point have I ever seen adding any value to the organisation culture or a high-performance workplace environment. So the first one, I'm going to give you some examples, 4 examples actually, of overzealous practices that I've seen. The first one is quite simply in a contract of employment. There will be no salary review for a period of 6 months. I don't understand the concept. I don't understand what it's trying to achieve, but I've actually seen that put in place, and I've seen managers actually work around that particular procedure. So they've recruited top talent, they've recruited really great people, and yet there's a salary review coming around the corner, and they don't even permit themselves to review the salary, simply because of a practice. Doesn't work for me at all, so I've bin it. The second one is perks for senior people. I'll give you 2 examples of this. First one was a logistics company, and 2 people turned up at the airport to travel to Madrid. One was grade 1, one was grade 3, grade 1 being the highest grade. The grade 1 employee was going to catch the British Airways flight straight to Madrid. The grade 3 employee, going to exactly the same meeting, flying at exactly the same time from the same airport, was catching Ryanair. That employee, when they discovered that, turned around to the senior employer, to the senior manager, and said, "I'm not traveling, I'm going home." And they literally walked out of the airport and walked home. Another example, and this one occurred not very long ago. 2 employees, same team, going to the same meeting in London, turn up at Leeds railway station, and they're traveling. One is first class, one is second class. The guy in first class needs some work from the guy in second class, so the guy in second class is actually walking 2 carriageways backwards and forwards whilst the train's in progress to London to, in fact, get the work done. So 2 examples of where senior perks just don't work for me. You either downgrade everybody or you upgrade everybody for the same meeting. The third overzealous comp and ben procedure is around career bandings. So you set up career bandings, you do it for all good reasons, and then you find that you've got top talent at the top of the band. And the top talent at the top of the band, you suddenly find when it comes to salary review, I'm sorry, but I can't give you anything because you're at the top of the band. You've got to have a promotion before I can actually reward you anymore. Completely ridiculous policy and practice. The fourth one that I want to share is around scales of service. Just never got this, just bin them completely. So because you've got 3 years service, you can have an extra 2 days holiday. Or because you've got 10 years service, you can have an extra 5 days holiday. Or because you've got 3 years service, I'm going to actually pop a slightly higher contribution into your pension pot than somebody who's just started with a business. Just don't get it. Does not pass the test for me in terms of generating an egalitarian organisation with a high-performance workplace culture. Fails the test on every single account for me. The worst that I ever saw was an HR officer in a manufacturing organisation I worked for reach out for a little template. And this was in response to a lady whose grandmother had died and she wanted time off for the funeral. And she was checking the service that the person had had to determine how much time she could actually take off for her granny's funeral. And I overheard the conversation, and the conversation went along the lines of, but if you had another week's service, I could actually give you another half day. Bin overzealous comp and ben practice because it adds no value to the organisation. That's my Room 101. Thank you.